Today, Buffalo Common Council President Chris Scanlon is urging the council to approve new rules targeting neglectful and absent property owners.
He joins us now via Zoom to talk more about this. Council President, thank you so much for taking the time this afternoon.
Dave Jordan, thank you for having me.
So before we talk a little bit more about this, first just paint the picture for us. When it comes to these neglected properties, what is the council seeing in Buffalo?
Yeah, during my entire course of time on the council, we've seen properties, and it's not unique to one district. It's a problem across the entire city of Buffalo where you see properties falling into disrepair and creating blight in our communities. But more importantly than the blight, it's creating health and safety risks for the members of our community, first responders who have to respond to these locations when there's an issue, and it's just something that has to be rectified.
Chris, this is certainly something that is not new to the Queen City nor to other cities across upstate New York. Certainly not something new to the Buffalo Common Council. Let's talk about some of the three resolutions that were adopted today without getting too much into the weeds on each of them, because there are some details in there I think that could really throw us off a little bit. But I think, what should we expect with these three resolutions that could be different this time around, and how will these really tackle some of the problems the city deals with?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, there's three resolutions that were adopted today by the council, and they're looking by and large to work in unison to address health and safety. The first one is very quickly just an update to our Chapter 137 of our code, which lists all the violations that a property owner could be found in violation of. We are not up to date on all of the New York State property maintenance codes. We don't have those listed in our ordinance, so we can't actually go out and find someone in violation of the codes if they don't exist. And I'm talking about things that are essential to health and safety, like carbon monoxide and fire detectors, emergency exits, things of that nature. Another one of the resolutions was in 2014, Councilmember Fontana and I at the time initiated legislation where unpaid fines and fees for these violations could be attached to a property owner's tax bill. And therefore, if they're not paid after 2 tax cycles, we could foreclose on the home and either get them to come into compliance or provide the house at auction to someone who might bring it into compliance and give it to a quality property owner, quite frankly. And finally, the last one is looking to create a municipal code violations bureau. A couple of years ago, we changed the way traffic tickets are adjudicated in the city. We now do it internally. I'd like to do the same thing with property violations and code violations. There's other cities in the state that do it. Buffalo is one of only 2 or 3 cities in the entire state that has a housing court, but there's an incredible log jam there. It takes too long, and I think we could do things more quickly internally. You have residents who are written up for a housing court. They have properties that are there for years at a time, and in addition to the financial strain it puts on the city, constantly going back to court for the same property, the same court case, it's stressful to the homeowner if they're a well-intentioned property owner, maybe just fell on hard times. It's very stressful going to court for them. Then you have the unscrupulous property owners who actually use it as a tool. They know they can get written for court, not show up, have it adjourned, and draw this thing out for a number of years before they can be held accountable. So we're looking to use these three.
That actually is a really good one. So I'm glad you brought that up, Chris, because we know that is a problem, and it's been a problem since well before this council, since well after this council. It will continue to be a problem. But what do you think, especially for those absent landlords? Because so often, you're exactly right, people not from this community use or take advantage of the current laws on the books, and you hear about it, and certainly we as the media hear about it from residents who are just left with no other options but to live amongst filth or lead or other problems.
Yeah, and it's bad enough that you or I have to hear about it, but imagine as a resident, having to live next door to it, or a couple of them right on your street, where they're, again, not only are they unsightly, but the danger they present. If they're not kept up, they can lead to fire hazards, things that could wreak havoc on a street and potentially loss of life. So this municipal code violations bureau, I think we would be able to do things more quickly internally. Instead of having someone who wants to use housing court as a mechanism to draw things out, we can file and we can adjudicate things more quickly, get it on the tax rolls more quickly. And if they're not going to pay it, more importantly, come into compliance and make it a safe property, we can take the property.
So Chris, looking at these three resolutions, what is next for them?
So at our committee meetings next week, we have the law department coming in to provide us an update on New York State Property Tax Law 905, which is the tax law that allows us to attach those fines and fees to the tax roll, as well as asking the Corporation Council to update Chapter 137 of our maintenance code, and also look into the creation of a municipal code violations bureau. what that would take. We have a division of adjudication here in the city of Buffalo currently. Question is, can we just start doing it that way? Do we need state legislation to create this Code Violations Bureau, or what that might look like?
Buffalo Common Council President Chris Scanlon. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. This is a huge issue and one that I imagine we are certainly going to be following pretty closely in the coming months and weeks.
Dave, Jordan, thank you for having me.
Thanks,
Thank
Chris.
you. All right, let's bring